Oh, now
this is another issue here.
Now,
Centre bounce.
I reckon this is
had a warning. Yeah, this is a free kick. Yeah.
Yeah. Carlton got their 6-6-6 wrong.
Oh my God.
It's going to be a free kick to Steen. 5:40 remaining. Steen just puts his hoof through it. 60-metre drop punt to the top of the square. No mark taken. Schultz, little handball to Long, weaves out of trouble. Ball to boot. He was back on the 50. This one will land in the square. Again, Collingwood have got the crummers. Hayes couldn't control it. Carlton defending desperately. Grabbed by Chera. Kick smothered by Lipinski. Back to Chera. Handball a bit fierce for Frankie Evans. Lipinski goes again. Elliott, another goal there. Hayes gets it to Anderson. To Membry for what might be the sealer. Tim Membry with his second goal, and the Pies have piled on 7-2 in the final term, and they're back out to a 13-point lead. But again, there is still 5 minutes and a bit of change remaining. As Collingwood go to 13-10-88, Carlton 11-9-75, all on the Tyre Power scoreboard.
How can you kick a goal, be 7 points down, and then have a 6-6-6 infringement in the middle of the ground? That is a catastrophic mistake from Carlton. You get yourself
a set shot.
Yeah, how can you get that wrong?
Well, I reckon what happened, I'm just looking at the players now. I reckon there's confusion with Ollie Hollands trying to go after Nick Dacos. So they had Sam Walsh, who was behind the ball. I think they were trying to make a rotation.
Massive clearance here. Crisp has got the footy. Great tackle by Pitnet. Allows Williams in. Handballs to Cripps. The captain to Ainsworth. He didn't realise Lipinski was coming up behind him. Again, not much prior, but he had taken a step or two. And for not the first time, we could say in this last quarter, Lipinski has been enormous.
Look, they have manned everyone up here, so they've done well, Carlton. Can they force a mark here or get a boundary throw in?
He kicks out wide, Lipinski. Pitnet grabs the crumb. They retreat by hand to Haynes. Inboard then to Walsh. Heard the voice of Dean. Back to Walsh. Going to be run down. Half a handball, half a throw to Wiedering. Long handball back to Haynes. Collingwood's pressure elite. Haynes finally kicks to a contest.
It was time to go forward. Busy intersection there. Great hands from Williams. Facilitates Chera. Off to Ainsworth again. Good left foot kick. Carroll's taken the mark. He's right just outside the 50. Nick Dacos on his haunches is on the mark, and Matt Carroll.
He was cooked there, Nick Dacos. I don't know if he's had a spell. I don't think he has.
Wearing the number 32, Carlton Guernsey has kicked 2 goals tonight. This is toughest test. 50 metres on tired legs. It won't be a goal off hands. It's bashed through by Quainer. Could be an important point. It's an even goal in it now. 1 goal between old rivals Carlton and Collingwood of the MCG.
Well, they can't let it out, Carlton.
12-10-82 plays 13-10-88. 1 minute 20 to go in the final term on 3RW Thursday night footy.
They got to squeeze right up. Don't give it even that one too far off. Just don't give them any option.
Howe short to Pendlebury. He returned the favour. Howe in the back pocket. Carlton are pressing up.
He wants Steen to get down the line and present the big man.
A draw, anyone. Big contest here from the long kick. Dean punches it away from Steen. Good arm tackle by Nick Dacos on Williams. Won't be rewarded. We'll have a throw up about 75 metres out from the Carlton goal. We're down to 53 seconds. Collingwood 88, Carlton 82. Umpire Dorr waits for the tired players to pick themselves up off the turf. The yellow Sherrin goes into the night air one more time. Pitnet with a little handball to Walsh. Nick Dacos with a great tackle. Walsh handballs it forward, close to the boundary line. Walsh sockers it forward. It is now within about 40 of Carlton's goal. Ball stays in play. Carlton probably would want a stoppage here. Collingwood want it over the boundary line. And the umpire still lets it go. We're down to 32 seconds. Blow the whistle. So I can throw the call to Huddo. And umpire Dorr finally does it.
That sort of whole melee there got about 10-12 seconds off the clock.
31 seconds remaining in a gripping final term at the MCG. Carlton, as much as 23 points up, are under pressure now. There's a goal, the difference. It goes back and up and down the ground level. Cripps under enormous pressure. Elliott, a big tackle. He tackles him over the line, and the umpire says, throw it in.
Gee, the whistle's gone away here.
22 seconds, 40 metres around from Carlton's goal. The best they can hope for, the very best for Michael Voss, would be a goal and a draw. Collingwood defending with their lives. Big off ball, free kick
against Josh Dacos.
Taylor Byrne.
Did he take a dive?
He's going to have a shot to draw the game. To draw the game, the clock has stopped with 15 seconds remaining. Taylor Byrne, the young Carlton player, he is just 18 years of age. He is playing his 4th game of AFL football. It is a long way from Koroit to the MCG, but that's the journey this young man is on. The clock counts down, the siren sounds around the MCG. 40 metres out from goal. He's missed. Collingwood win. Carlton lose in the most cruelest fashion. How much can one team take? What a game of football on Thursday night footy on 3AW. A barnstorming final term from the Magpies has seen them come home to victory. They kicked 7 goals 1 to 3 goals 2. Early in the third, they were 23 points down. Carlton had control of the game for so much. And then Nick Dacos led the Pies back in an incredible start to this final term. He was not going to let his team lose, and yet it was out of his control. What an incredible situation for young Taylor Byrne. Off the ball free kick paid his way by the umpire, Richardson. Yeah. Set shot 40 metres out.
So what happened?
Just missed.
Byrne sort of turned around and pushed Josh Dacos, and he responded. Look, it wasn't a lot in it. It was a big free kick to pay. He missed the goal, but every one of his teammates got to him. And then the first Collingwood player over to him, Scott Pendlebury, to give him a bit of encouragement. What a class act Scott Pendlebury is.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, isn't it? For the 5th time this year, Carlton have been ahead at half-time. 4th time they've lost.
You've got to give Carlton a bit of credit there. They were gone, and they really did take the game on through the corridor. They kept trying to win. Just Collingwood's managed a bit there in the end was probably a little bit better, but Carlton had a massive dip there to still try and win that game, and very, very stiff in the end, obviously.
12-11-83. Carlton 13-10-88. As you said, Beav, the Pies kicked 2, 1 and 3 in the first 3 quarters, total of 6, and 7-1 in the final term.
45 points in the first 3 quarters, 43 in the last. Carlton slipped to 1 and 5 and have a trip to Perth next weekend to take on the Dockers. The Magpies level up at 3 and 3 ahead of Anzac Day against the Bombers. Goal kickers for the winners, Jamie Elliott with 3 second-half goals, 1 in the third, 2 in the last, 2 each to McStay, Steen and Membry, and singles to Lipinski, McCreery, Nick Dacos and Will Hayes. While for the Blues, 3 to Mitch McGovern, a bit like Jamie Elliott, in fact exactly like Jamie Elliott, all in the second half, 2 each to Ainsworth, Kemp and Carroll, and singles to Mackay. Mackay finished with 1 goal 4. Also Will Hayward and Frankie Evans. 13-10-88 to 12-11-83 in front of a tick over 78,000 fans to kick off round 6 on a Thursday night at the home of Australian sport.
Oh, what a last quarter. You're on the edge of your seat, but you could sort of see right from the start of that last quarter, Nick Dacos just went, no, I'm not losing my milestone game. And his first 7 or 8 minutes, you would not see better football than what he played in that time, and it blew the game apart. I thought Carlton really still tried to take the game on. When they got behind, they start coming through the corridor, and in the end, their last 5 minutes, they were the better team than the Pies and just couldn't quite get there. Geez, McGovern, just when he had that shot, he took a fair bit of time off the clock. I don't know if he was thinking about that. They needed that little bit of extra time in the end.
Both teams staying out there for the presentation of the Peter Mack Cup.
All of the Collingwood's better players really stood up, though. Lipinski had a huge last quarter. I thought Perryman was outstanding all night. And in the end, it was their class players got them over the line.
Well, they lost you know, through the middle of the ground, wasn't it really? They lost control around the clearances,
And
particularly centre bounce early. That put them on the back foot. I wrote down, you know, the first 3 minutes they kicked 3 goals, and that was all out of the middle of the ground. Then they, you know, from there it was, you know, first 8 minutes, you know, they lost control around the contest. Like all those things that they were in control of, Carlton, they lost control.